There is currently no strategic reason for Ukraine to destroy the Crimean Bridge, according to Yevhen Dykyi, a veteran of the Russian-Ukrainian War and former company commander of Ukraine's Aidar battalion. Why would we destroy it now? We'll use it as bait. We can take it out only once, and it will make the most sense when our forces approach Perekop. Until then, for the Russians it's politically sacred, but from a military perspective, it's nothing more, Dykyi said during an interview on Radio NV. The expert noted that Ukraine is instead systematically targeting Russian air defense systems on the occupied peninsula. In response, Russia keeps sending new systems to Crimea. We treat the Crimean Bridge, and the entire peninsula, like a giant, purpose-built Chernobaivka. But instead of targeting aviation, it's a Chernobaivka for Russian air defense. They keep replenishing their systems there, which leaves Russia's interior regions poorly protected. They try to cover Crimea, Moscow, and the front line, but in Crimea, their air defenses are ground down like in a meat grinder, and they have to replace them again. This way, there will eventually be none left inside Russia. We're getting close to that point, Dykyi explained. Recently, Ukraine struck the bridge connecting Russia with occupied Crimea using explosives planted underwater. The third attack on this key supply route for Moscow's forces since the full-scale invasion began in 2022. Ukraine's security service said its operatives mined the piers of both the road and rail sections of the Kerch Bridge and detonated the charges in a carefully planned operation that took several months. According to the SBU, the attack used 1,100 kilograms of explosives, causing severe damage to the underwater pillars supporting the bridge. SBU Chief Vasil Malu described it as part of a consistent strategy. God loves the Trinity, and the SBU always sees things through to the end, never repeating the same method twice. We previously struck the Crimean Bridge in 2022 and 2023. This time, we continued the tradition, but underwater. He emphasized that the bridge is a completely legitimate target, because Russia uses it as a key logistics route to supply its forces in mainland Ukraine. Beyond its military importance, the Crimean Bridge holds deep symbolic value for Vladimir Putin, serving as a physical representation of his goal to permanently tie the annexed peninsula to Russia. Built following Russia's 2014 annexation of Crimea, the bridge was personally inaugurated by Putin in 2018. Amid mounting battlefield losses in Ukraine, the Russian government has intensified its forced mobilization efforts, increasingly targeting vulnerable populations such as prisoners, conscripts, ethnic minorities from remote regions, and Central Asian migrants to replenish its depleted ranks. Eyewitness reports collected by the Siberian Realities portal reveal that male inmates in prisons across the Volga region, particularly in Tatarstan and Bashkortostan, as well as in Siberia, are frequently subjected to beatings, psychological abuse, and threats in a bid to coerce them into military service. According to Olga Romanova, head of the Russia Behind Bars Foundation, many of these prisoners are funneled into the infamous Storm Z assault units, which are often deployed on near-suicidal missions at the front. She notes that the once crowded prison system is steadily emptying. In many cases, suspects are no longer brought to trial or incarcerated. Police are now not only authorized but actively encouraged to offer military contracts, even to those accused of minor offenses, Romanova explained. Since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, tens of thousands of soldiers have been deployed to the front. The prolonged conflict, now in its fourth year, has inflicted heavy casualties on both sides, pushing Russian authorities to seek new and increasingly aggressive means of conscription. Romanova also revealed that police officers are offered financial incentives for every recruit they secure. In 2023, the bonus was 10,000 rubles, but that amount has skyrocketed to 100,000 rubles. To put that into perspective, she said, the average monthly salary of a provincial police officer is around 40,000 rubles. You can imagine the extent of pressure this creates. She added that since 2023, approximately 90 prisons have been shut down due to the mass transfer of inmates into the military. In October 2024, President Vladimir Putin signed a law permitting prisoners to enter military service even before their trials, effectively legalizing forced recruitment from detention centers. A woman identified as Svetlana told Siberian Realities that her boyfriend, currently imprisoned in the Volga region, was among those brutally assaulted during a recruitment raid. Over 100 riot police were brought in and beat all the inmates indiscriminately until they signed. My boyfriend witnessed prisoners being dragged away with broken ribs and limbs. Some were sent to the front still injured. Those who refused were transferred elsewhere and threatened with further violence. Those who resist are punished harshly. Their phones are seized, and all visits are suspended. Natalia, whose son was imprisoned for a drug offense in Siberia's Kemerovo region, shared that he eventually succumbed to the pressure after years of resistance. He told me, "They twisted my arms until they broke. After that, he disappeared. He only had 2 years left on his sentence, and now he's gone." In 2022-2023, Russia's Federal Penitentiary Service reported a record 58,000 missing prisoners. While many were previously recruited by the Wagner Group, they are now being absorbed into clandestine battalions operated directly under the Russian Defense Ministry. Facing a growing shortage of manpower, the Russian armed forces are increasingly resorting to extreme measures. For the first time, women have been observed taking part in assault operations in the Pokrovsk direction. A video published by the 3rd Special Forces Brigade, Spartan, of Ukraine's National Guard captures this development. The footage, filmed during recent clashes near Pokrovsk in the Donbas region, shows a precise drone strike on a bush where a group of Russian soldiers was hiding. Moments later, a woman in military uniform, apparently injured, emerges from cover, runs a short distance, and collapses. Her condition remains unknown. Spartan unit members commented on the situation. During the intense fighting, we've seen all kinds of stormtroopers, on crutches, ex-convicts, drugged-up occupiers. But this was the first time we saw a woman. Back in 2023, reports surfaced that the Kremlin had begun recruiting female prisoners to join the war effort, offering early release in exchange for military service. These women were initially expected to serve in non-combat roles such as medics, sappers, or rear-area shooters. Until now, however, there had been no verified instances of them participating in direct frontline assaults. The appearance of a woman among assault troops suggests that the Russian army may be experiencing an increasingly critical personnel deficit, especially in the face of the ongoing fierce battles near Pokrovsk, a strategic stronghold in Donetsk Oblast. Russian forces have been suffering heavy losses in their attempts to seize this vital area. Earlier media investigations revealed that female inmates were indeed being recruited into Putin's military. Journalists spoke with former prisoners from Correctional Colony No. 2 in Ulanovska, Leningrad region, who confirmed the presence of recruitment teams active in the facility since autumn 2023. These recruiters reportedly offered female inmates roles as snipers and assault troops in exchange for pardons. According to various sources, the Russian Ministry of Defense has managed to enlist between 20 and 50 women from this colony alone. The independent outlet Important Stories contacted relatives of 2 such women, who confirmed that they had signed 1-year contracts and were promised a month of military training before deployment to the front lines.